All right, so we're going to start with the CCD model, or change events as they use it in Procore is the term they use. So first we'll just kind of go through that. We'll show you some of the terminology that they use, a little bit different. I can send these files out later that Monica made, but basically the change event module is basically the new CCD model. You can use a placeholder if you need something tracking T&M, or you just got a general number, $10,000 for something that you need to throw out there for a bulletin that's forthcoming, or some work you've already done, something that will be captured. You can use it there. Then it's also sent out the same way the CCDs were. They will be executed into change orders for the owners to sign, and then sent out to trade owners for them to sign as well. And then the project coordinators will be doing all the budget modifications and things like that, so we don't need to worry about that part. This is just a change event. This is basically what you see when you go into it. If you guys have your Procore up, you can kind of look through there, or I can just click over and show you. So let me switch over. So you want to find it by the change events. You can go to the toolbox. Over here in construction financials, go down to change events. If you hit this yellow star, it adds it to your favorite tab across the top. For some reason you're only allowed to have 5, but it's usually one I put up there, or you can go directly into creating a new one from here. So you click the change events if you don't have it bookmarked at the top. Basically brings up your whole list, kind of gives you the breakdowns of in scope, TBD, and out of scope. In scope is basically everything that you already have. Out of scope would be something brand new to the project. Say, I don't know, say all of a sudden your owner decides to build an ice rink or something, and that wasn't part of the project. You'd put that as out of scope. That'd be a total change order to the project, between us and the owner, not just out of contingency. In scope is generally out of contingency, or from funding that's already in play in the project. So you have your list of change events down here. You can edit and view them all. I'll start numbering them all. Kind of runs through. And you can also create a new one. So we'll just go ahead and create a new one. Click this orange button over here on the right hand side, or if it's not there, this tab is sometimes minimized. Just click those arrows and it will come over. You can also search here for all your other change orders if you're looking for a specific one that you need to go in and look at. So click the button. If there's already an RFI, obviously we always try to get an RFI created if there is a change event, so we have some kind of document to track it back to. You would click this drop-down menu, select it there, what RFI it is coming from. The numbers will automatically populate. Then the title. I usually just use the main trade contractor package number. So if it's general trades, I would start it with 6.1, or if it was the plumbing, 22.2, electric, 26.1, then type in whatever the title is. So let's go 26.1, generator hookup. Status, you can either put that as PM review. That's kind of the starting position when you're going to be collecting pricing and things like that, or out for pricing. Those are kind of the same two things. So it'll default to PM review. Internal, allowance, contingency, owner change, transfer. These are all pretty self-explanatory. This is a pot-to-pot move. Allowance, if you had an allowance, say if this was temporary heat for winter conditions, something like that, or straight contingency, or owner change, add second level, add ice rink, whatever, or TBD, to be determined. Change reason, again, same just like with the CCDs, owner change, existing conditions, back charge, allowance, bulletins, code compliance, scope of work absent, design change, value added, all the same stuff we had before. In the description function or spot, you can write in everything. You can either cut and paste the bulletin in here, or you can just give the brief description. So owner decided to add generator hookup, and you can change that in there. So and then you would say if there was a file, a bulletin, or a drawing, a sketch, any other documents, say the new specs on it, you can drag and attach it from here. If you have your File Explorer open on a second screen, you can either just drag it from there and drag and drop it right in here. As you can see, I'll open that on my other screen. You won't be able to see it. Oh, there it is, I think. You can drag it and drop it right in. Or you can attach the file adding here, going to your Explorer window, or something if you've already added it to your Procore drive, or as a file already in Procore. You can select either way. This one just brings up, again, your file folder. Scope estimates down here, so obviously you just kind of come down, find the contract package that it'd be in. This is obviously your electrician. Sometimes if it's got concrete or something else in there, someone else would be involved, you would put that as well. So we'll just come down to electrical. So this one was set up, this is that test project, it's set up a little different. Obviously I think we're going through and setting everything through just with the bid packages that we use through CSI code. So electrical power type would be subcontractor are the options we have. Obviously this one's a little different, but we would just click subcontractor. Enter description. Transfer switch, generator hookup, whatever. Then this is your rough order of magnitude. This is a number that you can put in there. If you've kind of spitballed numbers with your trade contractor and owner, you would throw that in there. Later on in the request for quote section, this is not seen by trade contractors. So if you go high and you want to make sure that you're not giving them the opportunity to overshoot, they won't see this, so it doesn't matter. You can just throw in $5,000. It's fine. Then if you want to add a new one, say you do need a concrete pad there, or someone to do some more additional work, you need to build something, frame something in, you can always click and add that portion as well. And then again, you would click subcontractor, enter in their description here. They're going to be framing the opening, you know, you got $250 or whatever there. And then you would fill everything in, add the documents you needed. This would, again, would be if it was a bulletin, an answer from an RFI, maybe you'd put that answer in there. That'd be something you would drag from Procore, a sketch, anything like that. Those are all there. And then you would create that. So we're creating that. It's obviously now it's set there. You can go in and edit it. You can see what's going on. You have the number, where it stands right now, basically whose court it is in. If it's in your court, the PCs, the project directors, anyone like that, you can go and edit that right here. Kind of shows the rough order of magnitude, everyone you got going here. The prime PCO, that is when it is actually a potential change order, kind of CCD, essentially. This is all something that the project coordinators take care of, and the budget modifications and the commitment PCO as well. Down you see the scope estimate as well. The committed PCOs, the prime PCOs, we won't get into that. This is all kind of project coordinator type stuff. So the last thing that you would do here is you would kind of create the quote right now. We would go through, and now you would hit this request for quotes button, and this will allow you to use all those same documents and kind of get everyone involved and start changing this over, getting your pricing. Obviously your due date, your title, request details. So you can break it down here. You could put your electrical contractor's name, provide pricing for installing transfer switch and generator hookup to building, build foundation or pad for co-behind generators sit on, 8 by 12 pad, build cabinet, general trades contractor, whomever. And this is where you would put your distribution list here. This is just anyone else you want to add to this document. So when you wouldn't select your trade contractors here, you would select other people on your project. So maybe your project manager or your other project manager on your team, a project engineer on your team, project director on the team, whomever else might be in there working with it, just so they kind of know what's going on. And again, you can see it's already, the attached document's already there, so if it's a bulletin, anything like that is already there. The commitment, these are all just kind of test things. This would be all of your people in your project, so you could go through and select who you would put. You would send this to your electrician, Scott MacArthur, your general trades guy, Derek, your concrete guy, Bill, and so on and so forth. And you would basically write out what you're asking them to price right in this request for details here. Once you're happy with that, these people right here will already accept the email. They'll get that email in their inbox through Procore, and a window will come up leading them to provide pricing, and it's just, they just enter it in right there. Again, so if you wanted to add your project director or whomever, anyone else, they would also get it. They just wouldn't get an opportunity to add in pricing. So again, this would all just be other people you wanted to keep in the loop, not your trade contractors. All your trade contractors would be added here. So we'll create the request for quote. Then those emails are sent out, and then as soon as that comes through, I'll show you what comes up with that to the owner. And again, the scope estimate is here. The trade contractors do not see this, so you don't have to worry about them being able to overshoot it or anything like that. You can also edit this at any time. So say all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, okay, that was a little high. You can go back and lower that, or hey, we were way under, we can price that up. So that email has just come through. I'll go over here. You guys seeing this right now? It just kind of comes through as your email. This is what the trade contractor would see. They'd be able to get the document out. Do you have an impact on this? You would hit yes. There's also a video here that they can look to see how to do all this when they are ready to do it, or if they need time. And again, the documents are right there. It tells you the due date, everything. So if you do have something, you would hit yes. If you don't, if you just send this out to your whole contracting group, say the painter, he doesn't have anything to do on this, or the plumber doesn't have anything to do on this, they just hit no, but yet they're still sent and notified, kind of just to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. You hit yes. You're notified. Okay, great. And then when you're ready to submit your quote, you would log it. So you submit the quote here. Do you have cost or schedule impact? Yes. The amount, schedule impact, any comments they have, any backup they would put here. This is where you would ask them to provide the CCD pricing form, or whatever we're going to continue to call that, where they put in their labor, material pricing, markup, and along with their backup files. You would get all that here. And again, they would submit that here. So we'll hit yes. Quote amount, 2,500. Let's put 1. Post the response. And then as the creating entity, you'll get an email or a response that says that they have sent that to you. So now I just got another email on the PM side that says that they have responded. So this is what I would see as the PM creating this change event. This is what I would see. It's under review. That's the automatic place. Then you can view it there, or you can just go into Procore and view that. So you go back to your change events module, generator hookup, you can view that. and you can see that you've received the pricing here from me, from whomever. And then if you accept it, you can go in to create the PCO. But this is all done by the project coordinators. At this point, I'm not sure if that's going to change or what we're going to do. So that is how you change or create the change events. You guys have any questions? Everyone still there?
Yeah.
All right.
So I created a change event today, and I requested pricing via email. I've got that pricing back. How do I enter that?
Okay. So you would go to Edit. Or I'm sorry, you'd actually have to go into the So you'd be from the change events log, you'd go over here where it says RFQs, and you would click this here where you have 3 people, and then you can go in here and add in the pricing here. So you would click here. Well, that'll take us to the contract view.
So I have to set up a request for
Quotes, yep, if you wanted to. So you would up at the top here, it says that it's been sent to that commitment to that person, and you'd want to respond for them. So you'd have an option right here. Would they have a cost impact? Yes. Enter in, drag all their pricing here, and post the response.
Okay, but I have to set up
Request for quote, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you would have to do that, yep.
How do you turn off email notifications on Procore?
Oh, man. I don't know that. I'm sorry. You could ask maybe one of the project coordinators. Maybe Lisa would know.
Okay.
Who's your project coordinator, Jesse?
Jill?
Jill might know as well, but I don't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Jill's learning this with me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that one. I'm sorry. I can kind of look into that a little bit more if you'd like.
It's redundant. I mean, I get 2 or 3 emails in a row for a submittal or an RFI, and
Yeah, yep, it does get a little redundant. I apologize. I don't know how to change that, but like I said, we can look into it.
okay. Walk me through the request again.
Okay. So you're creating the change event.
Yep.
We'll start a new one here. We'll start from the beginning. Create change event. Fill in all your general information, title, details, scope, reason change. Attach the sketch, everything. Your cost codes, specialties, whomever. You would create it. It's going to make me put all this in. And then you would create and put all those in as well on the bottom if there's other people involved. And then you'd come down when it goes to the next event, or once you've created the event, that's when you have the opportunity to create the request for quotes. You would click that button right down here. So that's when you click that.
I don't have that button.
You don't have that button?
No.
Okay. You're going to have to email Jill, and she's going to have to change your access level. I guess there might be an issue with that. That might not be turned on for some reason in your setting. But you
Okay.
but yeah, you would hit that create, and then that's where you would come through, and all your people that you have listed on your project, all your subcontractors, would be listed here, all your contracts. So this would be everyone's contract listed here. So every bid package, everyone's got a contract would be there. And then you would click who it would go to. In this test project, there's just a bunch of us. So you would click it here, and then you can select or deselect again over here on this side, a little redundant.
Okay.
And then you would create the RFQ. And again, if you wanted to send that out to your PC so they see what you're doing, or anyone else on the team, you would add them here. Maybe your owner when they see you sending it out, depending on how the situation is set up for your project. And then once you get all that information, you would basically, just like the old way, you would go into your change event, CCD, in old terms, and edit that. And you would put approved once you have everything out. You can use the approved, you can use, you can put it over to PC review and email it this way. You can email it directly from here with this button here and email it to your project coordinator and just put approved that you've already done it. And then they will do the rest of the processing. So we'll go back. Go ahead.
Go ahead, whoever. Say you've got a bulletin that's multiple items in it. Some of it might not, you might go forward with some of it and might not go forward with some of that work. So are we supposed to be getting in the practice of creating a separate change event for each item that might be in a bulletin?
No. So you can do one for the one bulletin. So okay. You can go through, and if there's pricing is not accepted, the PC just would not create a change order to their contract in that. It would basically show there, but they wouldn't create it. They wouldn't move forward with it.
Okay. Well, in lots of cases, you might have a bulletin, though, where you've got some, half of that bulletin and the work, might get approved, and they might not go forward with some of it, So you have to go back and modify the CCD, for the portion of it that was approved.
Yeah, you would have to have them send in a CCD for what was approved or what wasn't, and then go back through and change all the pricing in there. So some people, maybe a donor decided that, okay, we're going to can this whole part, so their number goes from, $5,000 to zero, or others just get halved because only half of the scope was decided to go forward with. Yep.
Right.
And so here's a little screenshot from this document. And again, I can send this out. This just kind of briefly covers everything else in written form that I went through. And that's the other thing I forgot to mention, that when you create the RFQ, it goes out automatically. So make sure you're ready to send it out. You have all the information in there once you do it. So. And that's the other thing. When person is on the distribution list, they'll also get emails of all those prices. And then here's your question, Todd, down here, B. You must navigate back to the CE and scroll down to the RFQ area. And you can do that right here. So once you can do it from creating the change event, you can go down to the bottom where all that other information is. You can go in and answer that.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just missing that button.
Okay. But yeah, call Jill, see if there's something that needs to be changed.
Okay.
And then here again, once you've gotten all your pricing back and the owner, you've reviewed it with the owner, kind of let them know, maybe depending on the situation, whether it's just a verbal or the relationship that's going on with the owner rep, or whomever you're working with. When it's ready to go, you'd send it over there. Again, a lot of times, obviously, we're told to proceed with it and track a T&M or whatever the case may be. So there you go. That's everything. The other thing I was going to do was creating the RFI, which is pretty simple. I think everyone's done that, but we'll just go through that real quick. Again, with the RFI, you would just go to your Home tab, go over to Project Management, RFIs. Again, that once you hover over it, that star will show up. You can put that up in your favorite bar across there or create it. This takes you right to it. And then again, the same thing shows up. Auto number, subject. Again, I always use the trade package if it's specific to them or they have the most skin in the game. Who it's assigned to, your engineer, your architect, whomever is the point person, responsible contractor, the person you want to put on the distribution list. You can go in and create sub-locations. So if it's third floor, you can create a bunch of sub-locations off of that, or if you just want to keep it general, third floor or whatever, you can do that. The due date, you can also put in the question received from. So once you put in the responsible contractor, a list of people from that company will come up here and you can select them, probably your foreman or project manager for that company. Any drawing sheets that might be relevant, spec section if you want to, you can put that in, not really necessary. Schedule impact, cost impact, cost code we don't really use, but you can fill all this in if you'd like to. Overdue notifications, keep that selected, that'll automatically select. You can click private, that just means only people on the distribution list will be able to see it. Again, just kind of for open and clarity, it's kind of good to have that so everyone can see what's going on in the project. So if someone is checking this daily on a very large project, they can go in and see what kind of RFIs are coming up and what may or may not be affecting them. So again, this will automatically auto-populate. You want to move the numbers to 001. That way populating forward will go in the right sequence. If you want to just do it as like you're collecting some information still, you can just use this draft button and it doesn't get sent out to this person here that you've selected. So say you got to go get some more info from different trade contractors, you want to create a sketch or something, you can do that later. Subject, again, bid package number, type of package, and what it is they're doing. Signed, it's drop-down menu. Appropriate for your team to be receiving. So if you have a bunch of people that need to look at that, again, all this stuff we just went over. This will just kind of show you, lays it all out for you. Question, this is the part where you would just type out your question. Does this door need to be 3.0 or 3.8? Whatever your question is, any sketches or anything, pictures you want to put in, you would do that again to the attached file, whether you drag and drop or just open up your File Explorer. Here again is how that's done. You would click the Create button at the bottom right there, and that's how it's created. Sends it out, and then you'll wait from there. And then when you want to distribute the answer, you'll click on an RFI. You'll see that someone's responded to it. All the replies, all the responses say the architect and the engineer and the electrical engineer all have input. They can mark up and put theirs in there, or the owner does, or anyone else that has any input can do that. Once there's an official response, there's a box on the side of their comments. So you'll see all the comments, and then over on the side, you see that official response. You want to make sure you click that so that that is the official response, and that goes sent out when you send it. And then you come to this screen, gives you all your details, the official response, and then you close the RFI or email it. When you email it, I believe it automatically closes it. Then you can also create change events from this as well. So if you wanted to, you had an RFI and you know there's going to be a change event, or eventually it leads to a change event, you can create it right from there. All the documents, everything, all the responses, all the replies, everything gets added right into it. So you can move right through without basically recreating the wheel. You don't have to worry about any of that. So, any questions on that? All right. Well, I believe these might already be up on the resource tab for Procore on the cloud drive thing, whatever it's called, the SharePoint. So I think that's up there. If you just go to the SharePoint, I think it's there. Oh. I never know how to get to that thing. Anyways, that main thing when you get to the CSM site. I believe there's a tab there. So. All right. Any other questions or concerns?
Oh.
All right. Well, look up here on this page. It'll be here eventually, listed somewhere under the Procore tab, I assume, for the videos and any other trainings that will be added. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill.
Hey, no problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to email or call.